John, watch out. It looks like one of those Dobbs passes is coming your way. What a brutal fucking night that was last night. Brutal Monday Night Football game. Dobbs couldn't complete a pass, 4 interceptions.
He completed 4 passes to the other team.
Yeah, all over the place. So one of the more disgusting Monday Night Football games we've had in a while. Bears, credit to them with their defense getting it done. They looked a lot better, but Minnesota, after looking good since the Kirk Cousins injury, bringing in Dobbs, everything looked good. Just looking at a different quarterback last night, and then Bears winning without a touchdown. First time that's happened in 30 years. Disgusting game last night, John. And NBA, I mean, it kind of went how we expected. We didn't have any bets there, so small loss on the night, only 2 units, but just a disgusting way to lose that horrible game.
It finishes off a bad week 12. 11 straight winning weeks in NFL, won every week. This was a fucking disaster. We don't make excuses here. I just want to know who Vikings head coach O'Connell blew to get the job. The only reason I could see him being a head coach. Disgusting. I mean, look, Dobbs was absolutely horrible. He is what he is. He's a backup quarterback, had his 15 minutes of fame, but 4 interceptions. I do have a feeling he took that huge hit last week in Denver, which they've suspended Jackson for the Broncos, which, by the way, we needed the Vikings last week. So that kid gives him a hit. He's a repeat offender. They don't throw the flag on him, which should have gave us 15 yards, personal foul, and a first down at that time. It didn't, but it was so bad that they went back and suspended him 4 games. So the refereeing is absolutely at its worst. It really gives all these squares the real impression that the games are fixed. That's how fucking bad the refereeing is. So they got to do something about it. But on top of that, so I don't think Dobbs was 100% there. I'm not saying he's got a concussion, don't know, but just remember how great Tua was in the beginning of the season last year. And after the concussion, just never was the same. Miami fell off. So you want to check that out. Besides him being absolutely horrible, 4 interceptions, and playing the absolute worst game, the Vikings lost this game because of their coaching. I don't know where it's in the playbook anymore. 4th and 7 from midfield to go for 4th and 1, 4th and 2, 4th and 1, especially Eagles. If you're doing it, the push, the tush push, I get it. 4th and 2, 4th and 3, maybe. You don't go 4th and 7. Again, like I says, don't know who he blew to get this job, but he must have blew somebody. 4th and 7. At the end of the game, it's still there to cover. You're on the other side of the 2-minute warning. The other team's got their timeouts. You've got to play to score. Run the ball twice into the line, and then a ridiculous screen pass that they were waiting for. That's not going to get it done. They deserve to lose. If they pick up any yards, 5, 6 yards, you kick a field goal, you're up 4. And then let the Bears try to score a touchdown. That they didn't score a whole fucking game. So an absolute disgrace of coaching. I've seen such bad coaching. Again, these guys are getting paid millions of dollars a year. They should be coaching JV football. Disgrace. Dobbs, they've already said they don't know who they'll go to quarterback. Maybe you get Fran Tarkenton out of retirement. The kid the rookie they had, he's a joke. And then they got to back up Mullins. So who are you going to start? Don't know who you're going to start. First thing, go for a new head coach. There's a game you cannot lose. If you're looking to make the playoffs, you've got the Bears. And I know, and just as you said, Ben, hats off. Bears defense, we've talked about it now for 3 weeks. Yes, the first week was a Thursday night against Carolina, who have absolutely no offense. But they did well against the Lions for 3.5 quarters. They played great D and really good last night. So that D keeps getting better and better each week. But Justin Fields sucks. He's elusive, but he sucks. He's horrible as a quarterback. He's not an NFL quarterback. Maybe he goes back to college. Maybe he goes back to, was he from Ohio State, wasn't he?
Yep.
If he was from Ohio State, maybe they would have beat Michigan if he could go back to Ohio State. He's not an NFL quarterback. You cannot be given that many opportunities and not get in the end zone. With all that being said, we still bet the Vikings. And we lost. And that's how it is. As bad as they played, still should have won the game. Pick up 5-6 yards. Forget about just run the ball into the line. You got to score again. So that's my rant on that. 0-1 to start the week. And it finishes up a brutal week 12 after 11 weeks of dominating the NFL. So we're back at it this week. One bet so far for Sunday that I like, but I see a real tough card other than that. We'll see. Obviously, it all depends on injuries, and we get those as the week goes on and where the line moves. We've got the final night tonight, Ben, of the in-season NBA tournament. Obviously, that also counts for regular season games. So we're going to discuss a little bit about how it affects the tournament plus the regular season. And we got a couple of bets in this one and looking for a few more.
Yeah, real quick before we run through it, just some of the tighter groups right now. Obviously, Indiana clinch Group A. For Group B, you have the Bucks in the lead 3-0, but behind them, Knicks and Heat both 2-1. Potential for a three-way tie there. Also potential for a three-way tie in Group C. Kings right now leading 3-0, but behind them, Minnesota and Golden State both 2-1. If Golden State and Minnesota both win tonight, you'll have a three-way tie at 3-1. And then you have the Rockets and Pelicans going at it for Group B. Rockets have the head-to-head there if they were to end up winning today. So that's some of what's going on heading into this final day. 8 games here of the in-season tournament. First one on the card, we have the Hornets at the Knicks. No LaMelo Ball, and it just feels like the same story every season with him. He starts off a little bit slow, gets his legs back, starts playing out of his mind. Was looking right there with comparable to Tyrese Halliburton as far as what he was producing offensively. And then one of the ankles gives out. So he had an ankle issue left last game. Charlotte, they lose that one to Orlando. And they won their prior 2 games, which is 3-3 against the spread on the road right now. Then you have this Knicks team coming off a home loss to the Suns without Kevin Durant. They allowed Devin Booker to have a nice little game there. Barrett, after playing phenomenal, he had a rough night. Knicks have won 4 of the last 5 meetings, 3-2 against the spread. They've already met twice this year. They beat them both by an average of 18 points. You have Knicks who need this as far as the tournament goes. No LaMelo Ball, but a big number here. And we've kind of seen some of these bigger numbers when teams are missing players. Sometimes lines over-adjust. We see that in the NFL oftentimes with quarterbacks. Hell, Denver last night, didn't matter how many points you gave them. They were going to win that game outright against the Clippers. So this is one of those situations, John, where it looks like they might have over-adjusted on the Charlotte line.
Yeah, I just told Ben before we went there, I says, if me, Ben, and we get 3 guys from LA Fitness and write nuggets on our back, Clippers can't beat us. That's a joke. This Clipper team, what a disgrace. They can't put this thing together. And look, I don't want to be that guy. We told you so, but me and Ben told you so. No. This just ain't working out. This is a frustrated team. Westbrook gets into it with a fan after the game. This is a mess. So, again, we told you so. Getting back to this game, I bet this game yesterday. As soon as this line came out, we know no LaMelo Ball. Guys, I appreciate the DMs. We're on top of the injuries. No LaMelo Ball, obviously. That being said, Terry Rozier came back the last game. He had missed a few weeks, 22, 9 assists. Bridges, after missing over a year for all of his outside NBA nonsense, this guy's rounding right back into form. I believe it's 56 points, 20 rebounds within the last 2 games. So you're going to miss Ball. Don't get me wrong. But this number, 11.5, a lot of points for a Knicks team that really don't score, averaging 104.3 points per game over the last 3 games. Look, these last few games, they let the Phoenix Suns come into the Garden without Durant and Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen, but another rotation player, another starter, and get beat on their home court. Down 21 to the Heat. Come back to beat them, but just being down 21 was ridiculous. They went out to Minnesota. They got whooped on in Minnesota. So last 3 games, not so good. A lot coincides with early in the season, RJ Barrett was having maybe his best start of his career. He gets this migraine. He misses 3 days with a migraine. Doesn't seem like he's been the same since. Anyway, big number here. Knicks, yes, they need to win. You got a whole thing happening. If they win, if Miami wins, 3-way tie, just give me 11.5 points. I think Hornets have won 3 of their last 5 trips to the Garden. I think they'll keep this one close after getting blown out 2 times. I get ballers out. I think the other guys will pick up the scoring, and they'll keep it close.
In this next game, we have what I think is the toughest game on the card, Hawks at Cleveland. You have this Atlanta team coming off a loss to Boston. They're just not covering right now, 2-8 against the spread at their last 10. And then you have this Cavs team coming off a win over the Raptors. Mitchell came back. His last 2 shooting performances, he's a combined 8 for 35. He went 4 for 17 for 10 points his last game. So he's been dealing with the injury. He hasn't been looking the best. Cleveland right now, who last year was lights out at home, they're just not getting it done at home. 0-3 against the spread in the homestand, 2-6-1 against the spread at home this season. Really, 2 teams not covering numbers. It would be a slightest of lean here to Atlanta. They've had success in the matchup, 6 of the last 7 meetings. Just like I said, 2-8 against the spread. Their last 10 not covering right now. Atlanta are nobody, but really nobody for me in this one.
Yeah, nobody at this number. But Atlanta, their problem is at home. On the road, 5-3 straight up, 4-4 against the spread. Playing good ball. Just couldn't get it done at Boston, where they never get it done. But they've had much better success against the Cavs, winning 6 of their last 7. They did lose the only game in Cleveland last year. And as Ben said, Cleveland just has not been the same home team. They were a great home team last year. Mitchell, he missed a few games. He's come back. He hasn't been right since. So unless he magically regains his touch tonight, this number at 5.5 was a little too big. It's sitting at 4 right now. That's probably right where it should be. Right number, so can't get any of my money if anything happens with the lineups. If Mitchell, maybe there's something wrong with him, not fully healthy, maybe they sit him a game, that's different. But we'll see what the lineups and the lines say later. As of right now, no bet for me.
Then we have Raptors and Brooklyn. Raptors, they're kind of coming off 2 separate games here. Raptors couldn't hit a shot from 3 the other night against the Cavs. They lose that one, but they cover, and that's what they've been doing lately. 3-3, 5-1 against the spread their last 6. Then you have the Nets coming off that come from behind win against the Bulls, down as much as 21. They hit a season high 25 threes in that one. That's the role players getting it done. Royce O'Neal and Walker, they combined to go 12 for 20 from 3. You have this Nets team covering at home at all stops, 7-1-1 against the spread, and they have success in the matchup, winning the last 4 meetings. This is Nets or nobody to me. 4-0 against the spread the last 4 meetings, 7-1-1 against the spread at home. Yes, Raptors covering numbers right now, but they definitely regress a bit onto the road. Would be Nets or no one, John.
Yeah, again, not so bad on the road so far this year. 3-5 straight up, 4-3-1 against the spread on the road. So playing a little better than 500. Brooklyn playing really good at home, especially against the spread. Toronto picking it up lately. They shot 53% the 2 games prior to Cleveland. A little bit of a letdown in that one. Nets, had a big blowout against the Heat. 2 games ago, they had the benefit of the Heat sitting everybody, and then they come against Chicago, and after being down 30-9, we were on the Bulls in this one. This was a tough one to blow on Sunday. The Bulls get out to a 39 start, no quit in this Brooklyn Net team. They get up, they just grind away. In the second quarter, blow the Bulls out, pretty much decided the game from there on out. Claxton didn't play, which was another benefit for us. Didn't matter. They're role players. They're a deep team. Just remember, you've still got Cam Thomas and Simmons on the injured list right now. So they run another 2 guys deep in that rotation once they get back. So a lot of guys helping the situation out. 1.5, maybe just a little bit low, and I think a little bit low just because the Nets won and covered all 4 meetings last year. My number on this game, 2 to 2.5.
We had the Bucks going on a trip to Miami. They come back from a big deficit, 26 points against Portland. They pull that one out, and Giannis and Lillard combined for 64. Those two look like they're getting more and more comfortable with each other each game. They're now 7-1. Their last 8, just 5-3 against the spread, though. You have this Heat team. They're coming off that loss to Brooklyn on Saturday, and that's where they sat everybody. Butler, Adebayo, Robinson. Butler's the only one left questionable. I imagine he plays tonight. Imagine it was a give-up game, prep up for this game with Milwaukee. Obviously, they've had multiple battles against one another. One bright spot the Heat had from that game, Caleb Martin, who missed the majority of the early part of the season. He's getting his 6th game back. He played a season-high 30 minutes, scored 22 points. with the Tyler Hero injury and some of the depth they lost in Vincent and Strus, if they can get Martin back to being what he was at the end of last year, then that would be another nice piece for Miami. So we'll see how he keeps developing. You guys know the matchup history here. Bucks, they beat them earlier this season with playoff revenge, but they lost them in the playoffs last year. They've met in the playoffs. I think it's 4 of the last 6 years now. So a lot of playoff matchups between these two teams. Miami has had their way with Milwaukee at home. 6 straight by combined 100 points. Could only be the Heat in this spot. You have them sitting everybody before this game. Looks like they're prepped up to get it done here at Miami. Expect them well rested. We'll see, though, how low this number goes with Jimmy Butler in. That's to be seen. Still, though, Heat or nobody in this spot, John.
Yeah, only reason I haven't jumped out and taken the Heat +3 is because Butler is legitimately questionable. Did not practice yesterday. Yep. Bam, Duncan Robinson, both missed the last game. Duncan Robinson missed the last 2. They were back in practice yesterday. They'll play. As Ben said, Miami just owns the Heat at Miami, beating them by a combined 100 points in their last 6 trips there. Butler, we saw what playoff Jimmy did to the Bucks. You need playoff Jimmy. How bad is the ankle? Does he play at all? He's legitimately questionable. Healthy Jimmy Butler, I got Heat +3. There's not even a question about it.
We had the Bulls going on to Boston. They're coming out blowing that early lead to Brooklyn. Played pretty well. 4 of the 5 starters got into 20+. Just couldn't get it done, defensively with the Nets allowing to hit the threes. 1-7, 2-6 against the spread, both their last 8 and on the road this season. So really not winning, really not covering lately or on the road. And then you have this Boston team who does the opposite at home. They're 7-0 straight up, 5-2 against the spread. Got to see what's going on here. No Porzingis and Holiday. He missed the last couple of games. He's questionable. If Holiday misses as well, it's going to be a shorthanded Boston team playing multiple games in a row shorthanded. And the more of those that stack up, it just adds up to more minutes of guys who usually don't play that many minutes. So it's going to cause more and more problems the more of those get to play in a row. We'll see what's going on with Holiday. As bad as the Bulls have been, they've had their success in the matchup history. They split 4 meetings last year. Bulls covered all 4, and they're 5-0 against the spread the last 5 trips to Boston. So matchup history favors matchup history favors the Bulls. Everything else here favors Boston, except for the fact they're shorthanded. Would be Bulls or nobody, especially if Holiday's out.
Yeah, before I get to Boston, I just want to go back up to that Miami-Milwaukee game. In that game, if Milwaukee wins that game, they're going to win that group. If Miami wins, you're again in that 3-way tie, Miami, Milwaukee, Knicks, and then it all comes down to points. So just wanted to touch upon each of these games tonight, how they might affect that in-season tournament. As far as this game, nothing to affect. Bulls are out of it. Celtics need a win and need to win big because if the Nets lose, they'll finish with the same. The Celtics will finish with the same record as the Magic, who the Magic just destroyed them the other day. So they would get the win. So then again, it comes down to points. So again, Celtics might look to blow out the Bulls, or they might be looking ahead to Friday when they host the 76ers in the last game before the break. There'll be a week-long break while the playoffs of the in-season tournament goes on. Bulls, while they haven't covered anything, they have covered their last 5 trips to Boston, winning 2 straight out. 13.5, huge number. Porzingis definitely out. If Holiday's out, we've already talked about it. This is one of the thinnest teams in the NBA. I believe going into today, they're second lowest in bench scoring. So no Holiday here. Big number. Yeah, I know the Bulls got us bad Sunday, but I'd be willing to take another shot with them, plus this huge number tonight. We'll wait for the injuries, and obviously you need Levine for the Bulls.
Yeah, and I'd have to imagine if the Celtics pull off a solid win tonight, they would get the wild card out of the East. I have no idea how much of that they're going to, go off a point differential, everything else, if it's just going to be a true whatever's best for, ratings and everything else for the NBA. So I'd have to imagine it'd be Boston, but we'll see how they end up handling that. This next matchup, Thunder at Minnesota. This is a very exciting game for multiple reasons. A couple of younger teams on the rise. You have OKC, NBA best, 6-1 straight up against the spread on the road. You have Minnesota, NBA best. What is it now? They're 8-1.
7-1.
Yeah, 7-1 straight up against the spread at home. So best road team, best home team. Mini third in points allowed. OKC third in scoring. And it just has everything to match up here. OKC was playing phenomenal basketball. Then they lose at home there to Philly in a pretty good game. I mean, Holmgren and Shai combined for 64 in that one. Here's my only concern with OKC. You have all this Giddey drama, which we really haven't addressed here on the podcast yet. Whatever happens with that, whatever they decide, however the NBA handles that, so be it. At the end of the day, you have one of your star players who's supposed to be a part of your team for the future going to have all this drama around it. So is he a part of the future? How does that happen in the locker room? I have to imagine that's taking a toll on everybody involved, coaching, players, you name it. It's really tough for them. We'll see if they go on a little bit of a losing streak with that. And Minnesota, as far as this tournament, they need a win here tonight. This would be a lean here. I like Minnesota in this matchup. I think they get it done. They've been great at home. Yes, OKC, great on the road, does everything else. Matchup history, though, Minnesota 8-1 the last 9. This is the shortest line of any of those 9 games, and I imagine they cover tonight, John.
So we talk about a lot of our trends, and you have one trend is the revenge trend, and one trend is the ownership trend, and there's that fine line between own and revenge, and that's similar to what we have in the Charlotte-Knick game today, where I feel Charlotte's won 3 of the last 5. They got blown out twice this year, but twice 2 blowouts to a Knick team. I'm not going to call it an ownership. Now, do I want to call Minnesota ownership? They have owned the old OKC team. Now, they won 3 or 4 last year, losing one of the games at home. But what they did do was absolutely blow the Thunder out in the play-in game, beat them by 25 at home, 120-95. Is this a little revenge for the play-in? Or do we give the Timberwolves the ownership in this one? This one, it's tough to tell. This one will tell. But OKC's been really good on the road, while Minnie's been great at home. Tough game to play here. You've got a Timberwolves team that keeps the score down low. I just think 3.5 is the right number. It's ticked down a little bit to 3. Just not enough room for me to play it there. Jalen Williams may be coming back. He's missed the last few games for the Thunder. So this is one that I'm willing to sit out unless something big happens to the line.
We have a battle in Texas. Rockets at Dallas. This Houston team keeps on finding a way right now. If they get a win tonight as well, they will have the head-to-head over the Pelicans. They'll both be 3-1 in that Group B. This Rockets team coming off a nice win there against the Nuggets. Held them to 23% from 3, and they are leading the NBA, allowing 104.4 points per game. In their last 11 games, 10-0-1 against the spread. Keep getting it done with defense. Then you have this Mavs team crushed by the Clippers the other night. They had a bad shooting performance. Both Luka and Hardaway struggled from deep. They're just 2-4 against the spread now, straight up and against the spread. Their last 6, not playing good ball. Mavs have had some success in this matchup, winning, but not covering. 7 of the last 8 meetings, but just 4-4 against the spread. And Rockets last year, they went 3-1 against the spread. They split the 2 games in Dallas. The way Houston's playing, it's them or nobody, and it's under or nothing. Like I said, NBA bets allowing 104 points per game. Dallas coming off a brutal night shooting where they scored just, 87? So it would be a lean here. It's Houston or nobody, under or nothing.
Oh, yeah, the under. And pardon me, Ben, don't. If I'm repeating what Ben said, just give me a chance, because just looking, coming across there, Jonathan Taylor running back for the Colts, they just popped up questionable. This was a side I leaned to. Tennessee is a couple of point dog at home. Was waiting to see if we can get more points. Obviously, we'll wait to see with Taylor. Just keep in mind, Moss did a real good job before Taylor came in. So we'll see how that affects the line, if he's out at all. Just came across questionable. So anyway, sorry about not paying attention. But let's go to this game. Houston, Udoka, what a job. I mean, he's got them playing D. I don't even have to say we're on the under in this one. Houston, 7 of their last 8 games under. Is it? Let me find my facts here. 5 of the last 6 meetings between the Rockets and Mavs, the series history is under. Mavs' last 3 is under. We bet under in this game. Now, making it even sweeter, as Ben was saying, Luka was off. Why was he off? Well, he hurts his left thumb in the opening minutes of the last game against the Clippers. Can't buy a hoop after that. They have X-rays, and everything comes out okay. He's listed as probable. I have my doubts if Luke is playing tonight. Even so, maybe he's affected still tonight. The under trends with Luka's health, man, I made this game much lower. This is a double bet, a 2-unit under bet for me. We went under 229.5.
And this last game on the card, Warriors at Sacramento, already going to be meeting for a third time this season. You have the Warriors coming off a decent win there against San Antonio. Good news is they get Draymond Green back from this suspension.
I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see what he brings to the table. Could be rough. Definitely in this matchup, definitely some history there with him and Sabonis. We'll see. Maybe he goes right back to the suspension list. Sacramento, they're playing pretty decent ball right now, coming off a nice win, handing Minnesota their first home loss of the season. They're 7-2, 6-3 against the spread their last 9. Now, as far as the in-season tournament, you have Sac leading this division 3-0. This group, but then you have Minnesota and Golden State right behind them, 2-1. So Golden State could have the head-to-head here in this matchup. They get a win here tonight. They've now won 6 of the last 7 meetings, both this season. So far, Sac covered that last one. It's Golden State or nobody for me. Just the little brother here in Sacramento. Game has some value as far as, the in-season tournament. We'll see how much Golden State cares about that. But I know you're going to have a fired-up Draymond Green in this matchup tonight. So at least I've got going for you here for Golden State. And if a game has meaning on the line and Warriors versus the Kings, have to take the experience with Golden State.
I'm looking at it the other way. Once again, we're talking about that fine line revenge ownership. Golden State's won the first 2 this year, and they beat them in Game 7 last year. Now, for years, Sacramento's been the little brother to Golden State, but it took 7 games to beat them last year. So you play a team to 7, can't really say they own you. So you got a little double revenge here. You got Dre first coming back. Golden State, they won 2 of their last 3. But what is it? They're now 2-7 against the spread their last 9. This Golden State is the team coming down. They've won their championships. Sacramento's that young team that this in-season tournament could be a thing for them to be chasing. To me, it's Sacramento and nobody. I'll be on Sacramento in this one.
And we'll see where those lines end up going there. Keegan Murray expected to miss that game. That is what we have going on for the last day of the in-season tournament here. And we'll see how those shape up for the games next week. And it's going to be interesting how they go about this wild card because they're going to have a lot of these 3-1 teams here. And I don't know how they're going to go pick hands between them. We'll see if the NBA does it based off of getting the big names involved or if they're just going straight off the point differential, everything else. No clue how they're going to handle that. We'll see what Adam Silver decides to do there. That's the NBA card, John. Hopefully we can get some winners here to get this week going in the green. Small loss yesterday, but nonetheless a loss to start the week.
Yep. I'm going to pin this loss on head coach O'Connell. You dog. Man, go read a Vince Lombardi book or a Tom Landry book. Or I just do something. Again, it's an L. We take our L's with the best of them. But when you play not to lose the game, you lose the game. On the other side of 2 minutes, okay, you've got to get you got a 1-point lead. Yeah. You're not up 9. If you're up 9, you want to kill the clock. That's fine. You have a 1-point lead. You've got to score again to secure a win. They still don't know how to coach these guys. I don't know if they see the games like we see them. How many teams turn the ball over and the team scores with a minute left? It happens seemingly every week. You've got to secure the win. I'd rather Dobbs throw interception number 5 and lose the game that way, at least trying to score to salt the game away. So that's just strictly an L on the Vikings head coach. I mean, yeah, Dobbs for his execution. But again, we talked about maybe there's a little underlying concussion, something from getting hit last week. But the coaching was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. Again, you've got to win a game against the Chicago Bears if you want to be a playoff team. They were coming in red hot. I believe it was 5 of last 6 games they've won, 1 loss against who right now is the hottest team in the NFL. The Broncos losing by 1 point at Denver. But yeah, hats off to the Bears D. and take your pants off Bears offense. Just you guys are as bad as the Vikings head coach. But yeah, some disgusting football, hopefully better football. Week 12 was a total wash after 11 straight winning weeks. NBA, we're going to get this thing turned around. I think we get it turned around starting tonight. A couple of bets already we gave you. Maybe a couple more, depends where the lines and the lineups go. And that's it, Ben. We'll be back, and I think this is going to be a busy week because next week will be this whole little playoff thing, this in-season tournament playoff week. No regularly scheduled games, so we'll have to figure out what else we'll have to talk about.
Yep, we'll see what we have going on there. Appreciate you guys tuning in. And if you guys haven't checked it out yet, Massa Edge, download the app or go to massaedge.com if you guys want to get all these bets, all these updates on these injuries throughout the day. Other than that, like, comment, subscribe below. Let's make some money, John.
Let's make some money.